Hey, how are you? Really excited to be helping you with this review of your cover letter. This looks like a pretty exciting role as a product manager for Close. Um, I'm going to spend this 5 minutes doing reviews both in the form and the function. I'll spend less time on the form, more actually on the function, meaning how you're um, positioning yourself and selling yourself into this role. So I'll start with the form. Your The structure is pretty solid. This is very common to have, the opening, like the body in the middle, and then the closing. The I would highlight a couple of things here. One is you're addressing this cover letter to the close team, and while I think it doesn't look necessarily bad, the better version of this is actually to address it to someone in the team, and because it's a smaller company, I'm actually familiar with Close, and even by looking on LinkedIn. You can tell they don't have a ton of. It's not a large team, and you're going to be the second product manager, right? Like you're applying to that role. It's very likely that you can find who is the product manager here, the first product manager or the head of product. So I would go and actually like look up and see who that person is. It's going to go a long way to it's going to show that you actually care and you've done your homework around the company and you've like managed to like look at this like basic sort of like who the person is, like Andrew, Stephanie, whatever, and that actually gives you also a good sense of like who the audience is, right? Like right now your audience, it's like broader because it's a team, whereas like if you find a person, you can probably speak to their background as well, so just like food for thought. And then the other big thing I think on the form is the body. I would say most of the cover letters that I've reviewed have just like one paragraph for the body. There might be a reason why you have two, and I without having the actual like job description here, maybe you have a reason for it being two. But if there's a way for you to compress it into one, I think it'll be probably just easier on the person reading this. Switching to the function and how you actually selling yourself. The opening and the closing, I would say, are the strongest parts of this cover letter. In the opening, you're talking about the company, the title. You're also giving me a teaser of like who, how, some of your attributes as a person, and your experience in the industry, which is great. Like it gets me excited to continue reading. The closing is also great. I like how you're like coding Mark Andreessen here. This is a quote that a lot of people in the tech world will know. This is a tech job, a tech company. I think it's like you're using it, and hopefully the person on the other side of this is like they also understand and they also are familiar with the phrase. Using like a random quote from a random other industry wouldn't do the trick. But I think this is very smart to do it. It shows that you're well read, that you are part of this industry, that you care to know who Mark Andreessen is, right? An important figure in the product ecosystem. So that's great. And so the saving the best for the last piece of it is, here in these two, the body really is for you to showcase and tie some of the things that you've done. In this case, as a product manager, tie your experience to the responsibilities or the requirements of this job description. The only part where you're mentioning something about yourself as a product manager is here, right? You're saying you're an end-to-end product manager who drives product development from ideation and wireframing all the way to testing and rollout. That's great. It really puts me into the mindset of like, okay, I this person can literally do from figuring out what to build to actually rolling it out to users. Within that spectrum of product management, people usually spike on certain things. Like they're really good at the UX part of the research or the building or design or growth loops. That's what I think is missing. So I would say if you look at the job description and you carefully look at what they want. By the way, the fact that it's a second product manager already gives you a hint that they probably have an end-to-end person already, and they're looking for the second person to like focus on something more specific, like specialize in either the growth loops or the pixeling or something. You got to figure that out, and if it exists in the job description, I would say use this body part to tie what that job description is looking for in your experience in the past. So especially if it's a SaaS thing, Close is a SaaS company. If you have any specific examples of you working in SaaS, that's great. If not, no worries. But if you do, make sure you put them there.